What can you tell me about voodoo?
Matter of fact, I do know a little bit about voodoo. Thanks for asking, Gabriel. That was a nice setup. What you're going to see in the video is a number of photos. Gabriel Knight 1 had a huge impact on me when I first played it. When it initially came out, it definitely created an interest in seeing New Orleans and learning more about voodoo and the entire culture of New Orleans. So, I can't remember what year it was. I think it was around 2008. We began going to New Orleans almost every year or almost every other year in some cases, and really enjoyed going to New Orleans. So when we went there, the people there are extremely friendly. The food is amazing. So what you're seeing is some of the photos that we took while we were in New Orleans and just walking around. But one of the big things in Gabriel Knight is they go to a cemetery where Marie Laveau is buried. And me, Amy, Paul, a few of our friends that we met there all went to the cemetery, but it was closed. We literally missed it by about a half an hour. But we were so interested in seeing it, we were leaving the next day to top it all off. So what we ended up doing is we ended up finding a way to basically climb over this fence and get into the cemetery. And much to our surprise, you'll see a video of it later, there were 3 other younger people there, and there was a guy essentially saying, hey, I'll give you a tour of the graveyard and kind of give you a quick rundown. So we went ahead and did this thing, and the video that we'll show you, it's going to be sped up because I did record it, like I said, back in like 2008. I don't even think I had a smartphone then, so it was, the camera footage wasn't that great, and the audio is absolutely horrible, unfortunately. And I'm sure most of what this guy was telling us was probably fabricated just to spice up the stories that he was sharing with us. But it was really cool to do it. The 3 or 4 teenagers, you'll see them in and out of the video. They've got a brown bag and they're just chugging alcohol, and I'm pretty sure they may have been on other illicit drugs with how they were behaving, or maybe they're just super quirky. But regardless, it was an amazing thing to do, and it was an amazing thing to experience. One of the great things is the first time we went to New Orleans, and roughly I think this should be timed right about right. You should be seeing photos of food. My friend Paul and I had gone out there with Amy, and we just got there and we just wanted to eat. We literally just got off the plane and they pulled us into this place by asking if we were hungry, and we're like, yes. Happened to be my favorite restaurant at New Orleans ever since then. And one of the other cool things is on the CR forums, there was someone that I truly thought was really incredible. Her name is Jules. And if this is timed correctly, roughly you should be seeing pictures of Jules and I, who happen to live near New Orleans. And so when we went out there, we got to meet up and hang out a number of times since we went out there multiple times. And then another time, it was shortly after Hurricane Katrina. I don't know if this can be timed too right, but you'll see photos of my friend Poppy and Mike in an airplane, and then Amy and I in an airplane, and we were flying over New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. It was like a personal flight that we took. So that was interesting to see. We also went to a museum where they had collected a number of things that happened after Hurricane Katrina. Like there was a piano that was damaged, and apparently I can't remember what the significance was, but it was a very important piece, and it was basically the legs were broken. It was completely water damaged, and they had it there, and they had just a bunch of stuff in this museum about Hurricane Katrina that was heartbreaking. So that was a incredible experience. But every time we've gone to New Orleans, it has always been a very, very fun time. And I have to thank basically Gabriel Knight 1 for creating that interest in me to go see New Orleans and experience it. And anyone who is within the US, or if anyone who is visiting the States gets a chance, I would highly recommend going to New Orleans. But also be aware, naturally, like any city or town that you go into, there are dangerous areas. So be sure to always be aware and understand that, yeah, Bourbon Street is great. You know, it's just literally rows of bars, but there is way more to New Orleans to see than just Bourbon Street. So maybe spend a couple hours or a day at Bourbon Street, but make sure you have enough time to see the rest of New Orleans, because there is so much there to see and so much there to do. Talk to the people and basically get stories from them. Listen to their stories if they're willing to talk to you. Most of them are. They mostly always have a great story to tell. One of my favorite things is on one of the trips we were driving back to the airport, and I always like talking to the cab drivers, because a lot of times they have funny stories of just different passengers they've picked up, and normally it deals with how drunk people are. And so on the way back to the airport, I'd engaged in conversation with the taxi driver, and it'd been after Hurricane Katrina. It'd been the trip where you saw us in the airplane, and he got to talking about how he and his family survived Hurricane Katrina, that they didn't leave, they stayed in their home. But essentially, when Hurricane Katrina came and started flooding their house, they were forced to go up into the second floor, and the flooding got so bad that even the second floor began to flood. So they got up into the attic, and they were actually still seeing water levels rising. Oh, so we're about to hit some music here with New Orleans. But the water level was rising, so they had kept an axe in the attic just in case they got trapped in the attic. So they basically had to hatchet their own roof and stand on the roof and wait for rescue. So take the time, talk to the people in New Orleans. It is an amazing time. I'm going to shut up now so you can enjoy some of the local New Orleans music that we encountered just outside the park that Gabriel visits. Thank you. And the whole point of this is, yes, I am still playing Gabriel Night 1. I originally tried to use the ScummVM version from GOG, and that was problematic because there is no native capture program. I was using Fraps. Fraps was having an issue. Ended up using the CD list installer from SierraHelp.com. Go visit that. Great community. Blah, blah, blah. All right, here's the music. And thanks for watching.